Hello there, and thanks for joining us. I'm James Downey from CP Feeds, and today I'm with Dr. Amy Radunz from Purina Animal Nutrition. Dr. Amy is the technical beef specialist for the state of Wisconsin. Today, obviously, feed costs are high. Your beef prices are not the very best if you're selling animals. What are your thoughts, Dr. Amy, on getting some high feed efficiency, more turns through their operation, and maximizing the profitability in today's markets?
It's probably even more critical that I guess how I look at it is, how do we make the best use of your corn, right? Or even reduce the amount of corn you're going to have. So I run the gamut sometimes in diets of where we're on a corn and pellet program all the way to a more forage finish option. And at the end of the day, it's going to take the same amount of corn to finish this calf. The question is, how long is it going to take, right? So do you want it to take 1 year, or do you want it to take 2 years? And that additional year costs you quite a bit in terms of other feedstuffs that you're going to feed, right? Bedding, you have more manure to haul. All of these things are additional costs to keeping that animal longer, even though you might be feeding more forage. But you'll probably end up doing the same amount of corn at the end of the day if you really look at those numbers. And even if we do want to feed some forage later on in that finishing period, one of the places where I see a lot of challenges, and this goes back to our previous discussion about health and getting enough energy in those young calves, is really having a higher concentrate or feeding more corn from that 300 to 500 pounds, because those calves are extremely efficient. They're converting anywhere from 3 pounds to 1 pound of gain of feed when we put them on a high concentrate diet. So we're not using a lot of corn in that phase, but if we can maximize and take advantage of that. And there's two other big benefits of that. We're also programming how much they're going to eat and how long it's going to take them to finish in that phase as well. So we can either add frame by feeding more forage, which means we're going to extend days on feed, and we're going to extend how much they eat and those things. So that's one key piece. Also, what's happening is marbling is really a lifetime event. And so even if we start feeding corn at those younger ages, we're going to have cattle that grade better as well. So depending on how you market those cattle, we can influence that. I also just see cattle being healthier, because one of the challenges in those small calves is, when you feed them a lot of wet forage, they just physically can't eat enough to get the energy they need to grow. That just creates some stress. So, those are some keys that I think we've worked with a lot of producers in that 300 to 500 pounds. And honestly, guess what else happens? You free up pen space, you move cattle through faster, and that maybe gives us more opportunity to feed more cattle.
You had several good points, Dr. Amy. Absolutely. And especially in today's market, I think those turns offer a lot of income, a lot of profitability, and making sure that we got the right program for your specific operation, the right feeds, the right health program, the right management. I think that's huge in maximizing everything in today's world. I really like what you said about, feeding those animals at that 300 to 500 pounds and maximizing efficiency, because that truly does set them up for a lifetime. And especially if we're going to retain ownership of those animals, let's say you're going to keep them as feeder cattle and finish them out, that's a lot of profit made in that life stage. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I usually, when I look at a projection, or that's where money's made or lost, is the 300 to 500 range. So if we want to look at the total profitability of that animal, we can do a lot in that phase that affects the overall profitability of that group. Just feed to gain wise, we can improve feed to gain. We can use a half a pound to maybe even a pound less feed per head, to put on those pounds. By what we do in that phase.
Absolutely. And Dr. Amy has been a huge asset for us. She's available for farm visits. Our staff here at CP Feeds is ready to serve you as well. And it's been a lot of fun for us to dive into the beef world a little bit, look at these big picture items, and try to maximize what farmers can do on their farm.